So just before we get into Monday's review, I just wanted to say that Deliverance keeps losing in the polls. So I'm going to have to put it against a movie again to see if it'll actually win or at least be tied with another movie so that I can actually review it. I don't know what it is about that movie. Nobody seems to want to vote for it so far, so I guess we'll see how it does against another movie. I'm kind of running out of movies that are, I think, similar or it would be a good match against, so maybe we'll just put it against something totally different and see how that goes. But anyhow, I have closed my polls now, so Wednesday's review, Entrapment, which I'm currently going to watch right now just to stay ahead of the game, because Thursday is going to be 2 movies, so I'll have to watch, Thursday is going to be Horton Hears a Who and The Day After Tomorrow, and then Friday is going to be Robots and The Happening, which I saw a long time ago and I wasn't really a big fan of the movie, and Space Chimps and Jumper are going to be on Saturday. And then I'm going to do a review of this book on Sunday. So I do have to read every day next week because this book's like 300 something pages, so I got a lot of reading to do. And I'm still making progress on my Walking Dead book, which is right here. Sorry guys, which is right here. I have read another chapter of it. I'm probably going to read another chapter just before I watch Entrapment. Or maybe after I watch Entrapment, maybe read 2 chapters and then I am off to bed. So without further ado, let's roll the intro and get into Monday's review. So Monday's review is of Cabin Fever. This movie made me jump on a couple spots, that's for sure. But this movie is very suspenseful as well, because it's kind of like the same type of deal, like 4 teenagers, or a group of teenagers, I guess there was actually 5 of them, go out into the woods. They're going on a vacation. That seems kind of usual, and you think it might be like a kind of like a slasher film, but it's definitely not. So Jeff, Karen, Paul, Marcy, and Bert, are all these kids who are going on this summer vacation, and they start getting this disease, and nobody knows where this disease is coming from. But who was the first to get it, actually? I guess basically, Bert finds this guy in the woods that is sick at the beginning of the movie, and he gets it from his dog who was sick. And Bert accidentally shoots him thinking that he's a groundhog or gopher, I do believe. And anyway, Bert just leaves him there because he thinks that the guy is dead. And he ends up actually knocking on the cabin door later on, and they have to chase him away basically because he starts going crazy, and so they chase him away. And anyway, then Karen gets it, I believe was the first. Yeah, Karen was the first person in the group to get it. So they segregate Karen away from the rest of the group, and then Bert starts to get it when they're finally getting ready to leave and get out of there. And then, which one was it? Oh yeah, and then Marcy gets it, and then Paul gets it, but somehow they're able to heal him in the hospital, and Jeff thinks he's finally made it out alive, but he ends up getting shot at the end of the movie because the entire time he was gone getting drunk in the forest, a series of events unfolded, and Paul ends up going on this wild rampage. So I believe that the disease actually makes you hallucinate. But they find out that the disease is actually from the water they've been drinking. And I think Paul gets the worst of it because he actually falls into the water. So I think that might be why it hit him harder, but the disease didn't spread nearly as fast. And I'm not sure how the disease really worked. I just know it was from contaminated water. That's what Paul finds out near the end of the movie. But anyway, they run into this guy who's at a different campsite, or says he's at a different campsite, and his dog's actually rabid, but you don't find that out till later on in the movie when the dog literally actually eats Marcy and Karen. And Paul basically has to kill Karen, and then he and this is all happening while Bert's gone to get help, and he goes back to the store that they were at in the beginning of the movie, where Bert actually stole an item from the store, and tries to get a doctor, and basically the guy tells him that he's not looking so good, and then the one store owner's kid bites Bert again. Actually, it wasn't Bert that he bit the first time, I guess. I think it was actually Jeff that he bit the first time. Anyhow, he bites Bert, and then this guy gets all angry and says, "Oh my God, you've infected my child. I know you're infected, but now it's my problem because you've infected my son, and I don't want to lose another kid," because I guess he'd already lost a kid. So they go after Bert, and they find the cabin, and Bert ends up catching up with Paul when Paul's getting ready to leave the cabin. So he sets up Bert in a chair for when they open the door, and then Paul kills all three of the guys who have come after Bert and gets away, and that's when he goes looking for Jeff, but doesn't actually find Jeff. And then Jeff ends up actually finding the cop that was there originally when they were making the file on the guy who went crazy on them in the first place, who was infected. And then the cops start asking Paul questions when he's in the hospital, and they don't know how to deal with it. They never dealt with this kind of thing before, so they just basically cover it all up. They kill all of they burn all the bodies, and they kill the last remaining member of the group that went after Bert, and burn the cabin down, and they get the other cop to dispose of Paul's body, and they actually dispose of it in the water, so basically they're just contaminating the water for themselves as well. And the cop ends up drinking some of the contaminated water because these kids make lemonade out of it. So the disease is just going to keep spreading because it's spreading through water. But Paul says in the movie that the disease was there before they got there, to let everybody know that. But that guy ends up getting shot, so unfortunately you're not going to be able to let anybody know. And Jeff goes back to the house the next morning after getting drunk in the woods the entire night, and finds all the remains of everybody, and thinks that he's finally made it out, and then he walks out of the house and gets shot. So none of them actually made it in the end. They all end up dying, but this is definitely something that could happen. It's not that far-fetched of a horror movie. Diseases take people's lives every day, so I mean, this might be a little bit different because I don't really know. I've never had a serious disease, so couldn't really say that it would make you hallucinate or not. But some of the hallucinations were a bit odd. But I do like Eli Roth's work, so I will give credit where credit is due. And Lionsgate and Maple always do extremely good horror movies. So I would give this movie a 5 out of 5. I did enjoy this movie the first time I seen it. I forgot how many, or saw it, I should say. The first time I saw it, I did enjoy this movie. I didn't remember how many jump scares were in it, though, because it's like the middle of the night, and I hate watching horror movies at nighttime. It's just, depending on the movie. This one wasn't so bad, but some horror movies really stick in your head. It was one of the ones, the original It, because I haven't seen the new one yet, and I do plan on watching the new one. So maybe I'll do like a poll up on Instagram to see if you guys would like me to review the old and the new one, and then do a comparison type deal for that movie. But yeah, as always, like, comment, subscribe, leave your thoughts on the movie if you have seen it. If you haven't seen it and this review helped, leave a like. As always, there are polls up on my Instagram account usually. There probably won't be for a little bit while now because I do actually have all the days planned out for next week. And there are a couple book reviews in there if you can see that, because my friend got me a planner for Valentine's Day. She also got my girlfriend gifts too, as well. And we got her something because she's our closest friend, so this was a very nice gift. So thank you to her for that. It's been really helpful to plan out my videos. It makes me more motivated to get them done, and definitely it helps me to stay ahead with that kind of stuff. So that's where I will leave off this review, and I will see you guys, I guess, on Tuesday with a review of the Walking Dead book, and then on Wednesday with a review of, or no, sorry. Yeah, that's right. Monday's Cabin Fever. So that's what I'm doing right now. But yeah, Tuesday will be the Walking Dead book, and then Wednesday's Entrapment. My bad. Okay, bye-bye.